What if the greatest stories of human history were not written by the victors, but instead buried beneath the sands of time, waiting to be uncovered? Imagine standing in the ruins of a city that once thrived thousands of years ago, its name erased from memory, its people lost to the ages. Today, we're diving into the shadows of history to uncover 25 forgotten civilizations of the ancient Near East, societies that shaped the world we know, yet vanished without a trace. These were not just cities or kingdoms, they were cradles of innovation, trade, and culture, whose echoes still whisper to us through crumbling walls and ancient texts. But why did they disappear? What secrets do they hold? And what can their stories teach us about our own world? Join me as we embark on a journey to uncover the hidden legacies of these lost civilizations, piecing together the fragments of their past to reveal the mysteries they left behind. By the end of this video, you'll not only discover who these people were, but you'll also see how their forgotten tales are more connected to our present than you might think. So, are you ready to step into the unknown? Let's begin. Now, let's turn our attention to the first of these forgotten civilizations, the Eblaites. Nestled in what is now modern-day Syria, the ancient city-state of Ebla was once a thriving hub of trade and culture. Picture this, a bustling metropolis alive with merchants, artisans, and scholars, all connected by a network of trade routes that stretched across the ancient Near East. Ebla's strategic location made it a key player in the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies, linking Mesopotamia to the Mediterranean and beyond. But what truly sets Ebla apart is its remarkable clay tablet archives. Discovered in the 1970s, these tablets offer a rare glimpse into the daily life, politics, and economy of a civilization that flourished over 4,000 years ago. Written in a language known as Eblaite, these records reveal a sophisticated political structure, with a king at the helm supported by a council of elders and a complex bureaucracy. Ebla was not just a trading powerhouse, it was also a center of cultural innovation. The city boasted impressive architectural feats, including grand palaces and temples adorned with intricate carvings and inscriptions. Its artisans produced exquisite pottery, jewelry, and textiles, while its scholars contributed to advancements in writing and record-keeping. Yet, despite its prosperity, Ebla's story takes a mysterious turn. Around 2300 BC, the city was suddenly destroyed, its once thriving streets reduced to rubble. The cause of its downfall remains a subject of debate among historians. Some point to invasions by neighboring powers, while others suggest internal strife or even natural disasters. Whatever the reason, Ebla's legacy endures through its clay tablets, which continue to shed light on this enigmatic civilization. As we piece together the fragments of Ebla's past, we're reminded of how even the mightiest cities can vanish, leaving behind only whispers of their former glory. And with that, let's move forward to uncover the next chapter in our journey through the forgotten civilizations of the ancient Near East. Now, as we step into the shadows of history, we encounter the Gutians, a people as enigmatic as they were formidable. Emerging from the rugged mountains of what is now western Iran, the Gutians swept into the ancient Near East like a storm, toppling the mighty Akkadian Empire around 2200 BC. Their origins remain shrouded in mystery, with some historians suggesting they were nomadic tribes, while others propose they were a confederation of mountain clans. What is clear, however, is that their sudden rise to power marked a dramatic shift in the region's political landscape. The Akkadian Empire, once the dominant force under rulers like Sargon the Great, found itself overwhelmed by the Gutians' relentless campaigns. For a brief but turbulent period, the Gutians held sway over Mesopotamia, though their rule was often described as chaotic and oppressive. Ancient texts, particularly those written by their successors, paint a grim picture of the Gutians, labeling them as barbaric invaders who brought ruin to the land. Yet, this portrayal may be more about political propaganda than historical fact. Some modern scholars argue that the Gutians were unfairly vilified, pointing to evidence that they maintained some level of administrative continuity and even contributed to the region's cultural tapestry. Their reign, though short-lived, left an indelible mark on the history of the ancient Near East, serving as a stark reminder of how quickly power can change hands. As we reflect on the Gutians' legacy, we're left to wonder, were they truly the destructive force history remembers, or were they simply victims of a narrative shaped by their enemies? With this question lingering, let's continue our journey to uncover the next forgotten civilization that shaped the ancient world. As we leave the turbulent legacy of the Gutians behind, our journey now takes us to the enigmatic world of the Hurrians, a civilization whose influence rippled across the ancient Near East, yet whose story remains largely untold. Emerging around 2500 BCE, the Hurrians settled in the fertile lands of northern Mesopotamia and southeastern Anatolia, carving out a cultural niche that would leave a lasting impact on the region. Unlike many of their contemporaries, the Hurrians are perhaps best known for their unique language, which stands apart from the Semitic and Indo-European tongues of the time. This linguistic distinctiveness has fascinated scholars, offering a glimpse into a people who are both deeply connected to their neighbors and yet strikingly original in their identity. The Hurrians' cultural contributions were vast and varied, particularly in the realms of art and religion. Their artistry is evident in the intricate designs of their pottery and the vibrant frescoes that adorned their palaces, showcasing a keen eye for detail and a love for storytelling through imagery. In religion, the Hurrians played a pivotal role in shaping the spiritual landscape of the ancient Near East. Their pantheon of gods, including the storm god Teshub and the mother goddess Hepat, influenced neighboring cultures and even found their way into the mythologies of later civilizations. The Hurrians' religious texts, written in their unique script, provide a rare window into their beliefs and rituals, offering modern historians invaluable insights into their worldview. Perhaps most intriguing, however, is the mystery surrounding the Hurrians' disappearance. By the end of the second millennium BCE, their presence in the historical record begins to fade, leaving scholars to piece together the reasons behind their decline. Some theories suggest that the rise of the Assyrian Empire and the invasions of the Sea Peoples may have played a role, while others point to internal fragmentation or environmental changes. Whatever the cause, the Hurrians' legacy endures, not only in the artifacts they left behind, but also in the cultural DNA of the civilizations that followed. Their story is a testament to the enduring power of cultural exchange and the complexities of ancient history. As we move forward, let's turn our attention to another civilization that rose from the shadows of the past, the Kassites, whose rule over Babylon would leave its own indelible mark on the ancient world. Now, as we step into the next chapter of our exploration, we encounter the Kassites, a civilization that rose to prominence in the ancient Near East and left an enduring mark on the region, particularly through their long reign over Babylon. Emerging from the rugged Zagros Mountains, the Kassites initially appeared as a nomadic people, but their eventual conquest of Babylon around the 16th century BCE marked the beginning of a transformative era. For over 400 years, the Kassites ruled one of the most iconic cities of antiquity, bringing stability and innovation to a region often plagued by upheaval. The Kassites' origins remain somewhat shrouded in mystery, with scholars debating their exact roots. What is clear, however, is their ability to adapt and thrive in the complex political landscape of Mesopotamia. Unlike many conquerors of the time, the Kassites did not impose their own culture on Babylon, but instead embraced and preserved its rich traditions. This approach allowed them to integrate seamlessly into Babylonian society, earning the respect of their subjects and ensuring their rule endured for centuries. One of the Kassites' most notable contributions was their architectural ingenuity. During their reign, Babylon saw the construction of impressive temples, palaces, and fortifications, many of which showcased advanced engineering techniques. The Kassites were particularly skilled in irrigation, developing sophisticated systems that transformed arid lands into fertile fields, boosting agriculture and sustaining their growing population. Their ability to harness the power of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers not only strengthened their economy, but also solidified their reputation as capable and forward-thinking rulers. Yet, like all great civilizations, the Kassites eventually faced decline. By the 12th century BCE, their grip on Babylon began to weaken, and their empire crumbled under the weight of external pressures and internal challenges. The rise of the Eblaites to the east and the Assyrians to the north posed significant threats, while internal strife and economic difficulties further destabilized their rule. Despite their eventual fall, the Kassites' legacy lived on, influencing the cultures and kingdoms that followed. As we reflect on the Kassite story, we see a civilization that mastered the art of adaptation, blending their own traditions with those of the lands they conquered. Their architectural achievements and innovative spirit remind us of the enduring impact of cultural exchange and the resilience of human ingenuity. With this in mind, let's now turn our attention to the Eblaites, a civilization whose roots stretch even further back into the mists of ancient history. Now, as we journey further into the ancient Near East, we come across the Eblaites, a civilization whose roots stretch back to the dawn of recorded history, making them one of the oldest cultures in the region. Nestled in what is now southwestern Iran, the Eblaites carved out a distinct identity, yet their story is deeply intertwined with their powerful neighbors in Mesopotamia. This relationship was marked by both cooperation and conflict as the Eblaites navigated the shifting tides of power in the ancient world. The Eblaites first emerged as a significant force around the 3rd millennium BCE, establishing their capital at Susa, a city that would become a hub of trade, culture, and political influence. Unlike many of their contemporaries, the Eblaites developed a unique script known as Linear Elamite, which remains one of the great mysteries of ancient writing systems. While scholars have made progress in deciphering it, much of its meaning is still elusive, adding an air of intrigue to this already enigmatic civilization. Their relationship with Mesopotamia was complex and often contentious. The Eblaites frequently clashed with the Sumerians, Akkadians, and later the Babylonians, yet they also engaged in trade and cultural exchange. At times, they even allied with Mesopotamian powers, demonstrating their ability to adapt to the ever-changing political landscape. This duality of rivalry and cooperation shaped much of Elamite history and left a lasting imprint on the region. One of the Elamites' most remarkable achievements was their ability to maintain their cultural identity despite the constant pressure from Mesopotamian powers. They preserved their language, religious practices, and artistic traditions, creating a rich tapestry of culture that set them apart. Their art, characterized by intricate metalwork and vibrant pottery, reflects a society that valued craftsmanship and beauty. However, the Elamite story did not have a triumphant ending. Over time, they faced increasing pressure from rising powers like the Assyrians and Persians. By the 1st millennium BC, their influence began to wane, and they were gradually absorbed into the expanding Persian Empire. Yet, even in their assimilation, the Elamites left a lasting legacy. Their innovations in governance, art, and language influenced the cultures that followed, ensuring that their contributions to history were not forgotten. As we reflect on the Elamites, we see a civilization that thrived in the shadow of giants, carving out a unique identity while navigating the complexities of their time. Their story reminds us of the resilience of human culture and the enduring impact of even the most overlooked civilizations. With this in mind, let's now turn our attention to the Amorites, a people whose nomadic origins would lead them to establish one of the most iconic empires of the ancient world. Shifting our focus now, we arrive at the Amorites, a people whose journey from nomadic roots to empire builders reshaped the ancient Near East. Emerging from the arid landscapes of the Syrian desert, the Amorites began as wandering tribes, herding livestock and adapting to the harsh conditions of their environment. But their story took a dramatic turn when they migrated into Mesopotamia, where they would rise to become one of the most influential forces in the region. The Amorites' nomadic origins set them apart from the settled civilizations they encountered. Unlike the urbanized societies of Sumer and Akkad, the Amorites brought with them a different way of life, one rooted in mobility and adaptability. This background would prove crucial as they began to establish themselves in Mesopotamia, blending their traditions with the advanced cultures they encountered. Over time, they transitioned from outsiders to rulers, founding the old Babylonian Empire under the leadership of Hammurabi, one of history's most famous kings. Hammurabi's reign marked the pinnacle of Amorite influence. His famous law code, inscribed on a towering stele, remains one of the earliest and most comprehensive legal systems in history. These laws not only governed daily life, but also reflected the Amorites' ability to integrate and innovate within the rich cultural tapestry of Mesopotamia. Under Hammurabi, Babylon became a center of power, culture, and learning, solidifying the Amorites' place in history. But the Amorites' impact extended far beyond their political achievements. They left an indelible mark on Mesopotamian culture, influencing everything from language to religion. Their presence is recorded in numerous ancient texts, including the Bible, where they are mentioned as one of the peoples inhabiting the land of Canaan. These references highlight the Amorites' widespread influence and their role in shaping the narratives of the ancient world. Despite their eventual decline, the Amorites' legacy endured. Their contributions to governance, law, and culture laid the groundwork for future civilizations in the region. Even as their empire faded, the echoes of their achievements continued to resonate, reminding us of the transformative power of a people who rose from humble beginnings to shape the course of history. As we leave the Amorites behind, we turn our attention to the Mitanni, a powerful yet short-lived empire whose mastery of chariot warfare and diplomatic ties with Egypt would leave a lasting impression on the ancient Near East. Now let's journey into the world of the Mitanni, a kingdom that rose to prominence with remarkable speed, only to vanish just as quickly. Emerging around the middle of the second millennium before the Common Era, the Mitanni Empire became a dominant force in the ancient Near East, known for its military prowess and strategic alliances. At the heart of their power was their mastery of chariot warfare, a skill that set them apart from their contemporaries and made them a formidable opponent on the battlefield. The Mitanni charioteers were among the most skilled of their time, using lightweight, fast-moving chariots to outmaneuver and overwhelm their enemies. This innovation gave them a significant edge in conflicts, allowing them to control vast territories across northern Mesopotamia and parts of modern-day Syria. Their military strength was not just about brute force, it was a reflection of their advanced engineering and tactical brilliance. But the Mitanni were more than just warriors. They were also skilled diplomats, forging alliances that extended their influence far beyond their borders. One of their most notable relationships was with Egypt, a powerful neighbor to the south. Through strategic marriages and treaties, the Mitanni and Egyptian rulers maintained a delicate balance of power, ensuring peace and stability in the region for decades. These diplomatic ties were not just political maneuvers, they also facilitated cultural exchange, with ideas, goods, and technologies flowing between the two empires. Despite their achievements, the Mitanni Empire's decline remains shrouded in mystery. By the late second millennium before the Common Era, their power began to wane, and their once thriving kingdom fragmented. Some historians point to internal strife and succession disputes as key factors, while others suggest that external pressures, such as invasions by the Hittites and Assyrians, played a decisive role. Whatever the cause, the Mitanni's fall marked the end of an era, leaving behind a legacy of innovation and influence that would echo through the ages. As we reflect on the Mitanni, we're reminded of the fleeting nature of power and the enduring impact of cultural exchange. Their story sets the stage for our next exploration. The Hittites, a civilization whose advanced military and legal systems would leave an indelible mark on the ancient world. Now, as we turn our attention to the Hittites, we step into the world of one of the most powerful and innovative empires of the ancient Near East. Emerging in what is now modern-day Turkey around the 17th century before the Common Era, the Hittites built a civilization that would rival the greatest powers of their time. Known for their advanced military strategies, groundbreaking legal systems, and mastery of ironworking, the Hittites left a legacy that would shape the course of history. At the heart of the Hittite Empire was their military might. Unlike many of their contemporaries, the Hittites were pioneers in the use of iron weapons, which gave them a significant advantage in battle. While other civilizations were still relying on bronze, the Hittites harnessed the strength and durability of iron to create superior tools and weapons. This technological edge allowed them to expand their territory and dominate their rivals, including the mighty Egyptians. Speaking of Egypt, the Hittites' relationship with this ancient superpower was anything but simple. The two empires clashed repeatedly, most famously at the Battle of Kadesh in the 13th century before the Common Era. This epic confrontation, fought between the Hittite king Muwatalli II and the Egyptian pharaoh Ramses II, is one of the earliest recorded battles in history. Though the outcome was inconclusive, it led to one of the first known peace treaties, a testament to the Hittites' diplomatic acumen as well as their military prowess. But the Hittites were more than just warriors. They were also innovators in governance and law. Their legal code, one of the earliest known, was remarkably progressive for its time. It emphasized fairness and proportionality, with punishments tailored to fit the crime rather than being overly harsh or arbitrary. This system not only maintained order within their empire, but also influenced later legal traditions in the region. Despite their achievements, the Hittite Empire's decline was as dramatic as its rise. Around the 12th century before the Common Era, their civilization collapsed suddenly and mysteriously. Historians have proposed various theories to explain this downfall, including invasions by the so-called Sea Peoples, internal unrest, and even natural disasters. Whatever the cause, the Hittites' disappearance marked the end of an era, leaving behind a rich legacy of innovation and influence. As we move forward, the story of the Hittites reminds us of the delicate balance between power and vulnerability. Their rise and fall set the stage for our next exploration, the Urartians, a civilization that would carve its own unique path in the rugged landscapes of the ancient Near East. Now, as we journey further into the ancient Near East, we arrive at the rugged highlands surrounding Lake Van, where the Urartian kingdom once thrived. Emerging in the 9th century before the Common Era, the Urartians carved out a powerful and resilient civilization in a landscape that was as challenging as it was beautiful. Known for their towering fortresses, ingenious irrigation systems, and fierce independence, the Urartians left a mark on history that still fascinates archaeologists and historians today. The Urartians were master builders, and their fortresses stand as a testament to their engineering prowess. Perched on hilltops and cliffs, these massive stone structures were not only defensive strongholds but also centers of administration and culture. Cities like Tushpa, their capital, and Irabuni, which would later become modern-day Yerevan, were fortified with walls so thick and tall that they seemed almost impregnable. These fortresses were more than just military installations. They were symbols of the Urartians' ability to thrive in a harsh and unforgiving environment. But the Urartians' ingenuity didn't stop at fortresses. They were also pioneers in water management, developing advanced irrigation systems that transformed their arid homeland into fertile farmland. By constructing canals, aqueducts, and reservoirs, they harnessed the waters of Lake Van and nearby rivers to support agriculture and sustain their growing population. This mastery of irrigation not only ensured their survival but also allowed their kingdom to flourish, even in the face of external threats. Speaking of threats, the Eurasians were no strangers to conflict. Their strategic location made them a target for powerful neighbors, including the Assyrians to the south. Despite frequent invasions, the Eurasians managed to hold their ground for centuries, thanks to their formidable fortresses and skilled warriors. However, their resilience could only carry them so far. By the 6th century before the Common Era, the Eurasian kingdom began to decline, succumbing to a combination of external pressures and internal challenges. The reasons behind their downfall remain a subject of debate. Some historians point to invasions by the Scythians and Medes, while others suggest that internal strife and economic difficulties played a role. Whatever the cause, the Eurasians' legacy endured, influencing later civilizations in the region and leaving behind a wealth of archaeological treasures that continue to shed light on their remarkable achievements. As we leave the Eurasians behind, we turn our attention to another fascinating civilization, the Phrygians, whose legendary King Midas and golden touch have captured imaginations for millennia. Their story, like that of the Eurasians, is one of innovation, resilience, and the enduring power of human ingenuity. Now, as we step into the world of the Phrygians, we find ourselves immersed in a civilization steeped in myth and legend. The Phrygians, who rose to prominence in the region of central Anatolia around the 12th century before the Common Era, are perhaps best known for their legendary King Midas, whose name has become synonymous with wealth and prosperity. But there's far more to the Phrygians than the tales of golden touch. Their story is one of cultural richness, strategic alliances, and a legacy that continues to captivate historians and storytellers alike. The Phrygians were a people of remarkable creativity and innovation. Their capital, Gordion, became a thriving center of art, architecture, and trade. The city's most famous landmark, the Gordian knot, symbolized the Phrygians' ingenuity and their ability to solve complex challenges. According to legend, whoever could untie the knot would rule Asia, a prophecy famously fulfilled by Alexander the Great centuries later. Beyond their myths, the Phrygians were skilled craftsmen, producing intricate textiles, pottery, and metalwork that reflected their artistic flair and technical expertise. One of the most enduring aspects of Phrygian culture was their music. They are credited with inventing the aulos, a double-piped wind instrument that became a staple in ancient Greek and Roman musical traditions. This innovation not only highlights their cultural influence, but also underscores their ability to connect with and inspire neighboring civilizations. The Phrygians' artistic and musical contributions left a lasting imprint on the ancient world, shaping the cultural landscape of the region for centuries to come. The Phrygians were also adept at navigating the complex political landscape of their time. They formed alliances with powerful neighbors, including the Assyrians and later the Lydians, to secure their position in the region. These relationships allowed them to thrive economically and culturally, even as they faced threats from rival powers. However, their independence was not to last. By the 6th century before the Common Era, the Phrygian kingdom was absorbed into the expanding Lydian Empire, marking the end of their political autonomy. Despite their assimilation, the Phrygians' cultural legacy endured. Their myths, music, and artistic traditions continued to influence the civilizations that followed, ensuring that their story was never forgotten. The tale of King Midas, in particular, remains a powerful symbol of both the allure and the dangers of unchecked ambition, reminding us of the timeless lessons embedded in ancient myths. As we move forward, we'll explore another fascinating civilization, the Lydians, whose innovations in coinage and trade reshaped the economic landscape of the ancient world. Their story, like that of the Phrygians, is a testament to the enduring impact of human creativity and resilience. Now, shifting our focus to the Lydians, we uncover a civilization whose innovations would forever change the course of economic history. Emerging in Western Anatolia around the 7th century before the Common Era, the Lydians are best known for their groundbreaking invention, coinage. This revolutionary concept transformed trade and commerce, laying the foundation for modern monetary systems. But the Lydians were more than just pioneers of currency. Their story is one of immense wealth, strategic conflicts, and cultural achievements that left an indelible mark on the ancient world. The Lydian kingdom, with its capital at Sardis, was a land of extraordinary prosperity. The region's fertile valleys and rich mineral resources, particularly gold from the Pactolus River, fueled their economic power. This wealth allowed the Lydians to develop a sophisticated society, marked by grand architecture, vibrant markets, and a thriving art scene. Their kings, such as the famous Croesus, became synonymous with opulence, and the phrase, "as rich as Croesus," still echoes through history as a testament to their affluence. The invention of coinage was perhaps the Lydians' most enduring contribution. By minting standardized coins made from electrum, a natural alloy of gold and silver, they simplified trade and established a system of value that could be universally recognized. This innovation not only boosted their own economy but also influenced neighboring civilizations, spreading the concept of money across the ancient world. The Lydian coins, often stamped with the image of a lion, became a symbol of trust and reliability in commerce, setting the stage for the financial systems we use today. However, the Lydians' wealth and power also made them a target. Their conflicts with the rising Persian Empire under Cyrus the Great would ultimately determine their fate. Despite their formidable defenses and alliances, the Lydians were unable to withstand the Persian onslaught. In the mid-6th century before the Common Era, Sardis fell to the Persians, marking the end of Lydian independence. Yet, even in defeat, their legacy endured. The Persians adopted many Lydian practices, including their coinage system, ensuring that their innovations continued to shape the ancient world. Beyond their economic contributions, the Lydians were also known for their cultural achievements. They excelled in music, particularly the development of the lyre, an instrument that would become central to Greek musical traditions. Their art and craftsmanship, from intricate jewelry to finely woven textiles, reflected a society that valued beauty and creativity. These cultural contributions, combined with their economic innovations, cemented the Lydians' place as one of the most influential civilizations of the ancient Near East. As we move forward, we'll delve into the story of the Cimmerians, a nomadic people whose raids and invasions left a trail of destruction across the region. Their tale, like that of the Lydians, offers a fascinating glimpse into the complexities of ancient history and the forces that shaped the rise and fall of civilizations. Now, turning our attention to the Cimmerians, we encounter a people whose nomadic lifestyle and fierce reputation made them both feared and enigmatic. Emerging from the steppes of Central Asia, the Cimmerians were a nomadic group that swept into the Near East around the 8th century before the Common Era. Known for their relentless raids and swift movements, they left a trail of destruction across the region, challenging established powers and reshaping the political landscape of the ancient world. The origins of the Cimmerians remain shrouded in mystery. Some historians believe they were pushed westward by other nomadic tribes, while others suggest they were driven by environmental changes or the search for new grazing land. What is clear, however, is their impact on the civilizations they encountered. Armed with advanced weaponry and skilled in horseback warfare, the Cimmerians struck fear into the hearts of settled societies from the Assyrians to the Phrygians. Their raids were swift and devastating. The Cimmerians targeted wealthy cities and trade routes, plundering resources and destabilizing kingdoms. One of their most notable campaigns was against the Phrygian kingdom, where they sacked the capital of Gordian and brought an end to the reign of King Midas. This event, steeped in legend, highlights the Cimmerians' ability to topple even the most prosperous civilizations. Despite their fearsome reputation, the Cimmerians were not merely destroyers. Their nomadic way of life fostered a unique culture centered around horsemanship, craftsmanship, and a deep connection to the land. They were skilled metalworkers, producing intricate weapons and jewelry that reflected their artistic sensibilities. Yet, their lack of permanent settlements and written records has left much of their history to speculation. The disappearance of the Sumerians is as mysterious as their origins. By the 7th century before the Common Era, they had largely vanished from historical records. Some scholars believe they were absorbed into other nomadic groups, such as the Scythians, while others suggest they were defeated and dispersed by the rising powers of the region. Whatever the case, their legacy endures in the stories of their raids and the fear they instilled in the ancient world. As we continue our journey, we'll explore the Scythians, another nomadic people whose mastery of horseback warfare and cultural achievements left an indelible mark on history. Their story, like that of the Sumerians, offers a fascinating glimpse into the dynamic and often turbulent world of ancient nomadic civilizations. Now, shifting our focus to the Scythians, we step into the world of one of the most formidable nomadic cultures of the ancient Near East. Emerging from the vast steppes of Eurasia, the Scythians were masterful horsemen and fierce warriors who dominated the region from around the 9th to the 1st century before the Common Era. Their nomadic lifestyle, combined with their unparalleled skills in warfare, made them both respected and feared by the settled civilizations they encountered. The Scythians were not just warriors, they were also deeply connected to their environment. Their lives revolved around their herds, and their ability to traverse vast distances on horseback allowed them to thrive in the harsh landscapes of the steppes. This mobility gave them a strategic advantage, enabling them to launch swift raids and retreat before their enemies could mount a defense. Their mastery of horseback warfare was legendary, and their tactics influenced many later cultures, including the Persians and even the Greeks. But the Scythians were more than just fighters. They were also skilled artisans, creating intricate gold jewelry, weapons, and other artifacts that showcased their artistic talents. Many of these items, discovered in burial mounds known as kurgans, reveal a rich cultural heritage. The Scythians adorned themselves with elaborate designs featuring animals, mythical creatures, and geometric patterns, reflecting their beliefs and way of life. These artifacts not only highlight their craftsmanship, but also provide valuable insights into their spiritual and social practices. The Scythians' interactions with settled civilizations were complex. While they were often seen as raiders and invaders, they also engaged in trade and diplomacy. They traded goods such as furs, horses, and gold with the Greeks, Persians, and other neighboring cultures, establishing a network of exchange that spanned the ancient world. At times, they even served as mercenaries, lending their military expertise to powerful empires in exchange for wealth and influence. One of the most fascinating aspects of Scythian culture was their burial practices. The kurgans, or burial mounds, were not just graves but elaborate monuments to their leaders. These mounds often contained not only the remains of the deceased but also their horses, weapons, and treasures, reflecting the belief in an afterlife where these items would be needed. The discovery of these burial sites has provided archaeologists with a wealth of information about Scythian society, from their social hierarchy to their spiritual beliefs. The decline of the Scythians is as intriguing as their rise. By the 1st century before the Common Era, their power had waned, and they were gradually absorbed or displaced by other nomadic groups such as the Sarmatians. Yet their legacy endured. The Scythians left an indelible mark on the history of the ancient Near East, influencing the cultures that followed and leaving behind a treasure trove of artifacts that continue to captivate historians and archaeologists today. As we move forward, we'll delve into the Parthian Empire, a powerful rival to Rome that carried forward many of the traditions and innovations of the nomadic peoples who came before them. Their story offers yet another fascinating chapter in the rich tapestry of ancient civilizations. Turning our attention to the Parthians, we encounter a civilization that rose to prominence as one of Rome's most formidable adversaries. Emerging in the 3rd century before the Common Era, the Parthian Empire stretched across vast territories from the Euphrates River to the Indus Valley, becoming a dominant force in the ancient Near East. Known for their exceptional military prowess, the Parthians were masters of guerrilla warfare and mounted combat, tactics that allowed them to challenge even the mighty Roman legions. The Parthians' military strategy was built around their elite cavalry, particularly their heavily armored cataphracts and swift horse archers. These forces could strike with precision and retreat before the enemy could respond, a tactic that proved devastating against slower, more rigid armies. Their ability to adapt to the terrain and exploit their enemies' weaknesses made them a persistent thorn in Rome's side. One of their most famous victories came at the Battle of Carrhae in 53 before the Common Era, where they decimated a Roman army led by Crassus, one of the triumvirs of Rome. This battle not only showcased their tactical brilliance but also cemented their reputation as a power to be reckoned with. Beyond their military achievements, the Parthians were also patrons of art and culture. Their empire became a melting pot of influences blending Persian, Greek, and Central Asian traditions. This cultural synthesis is evident in their architecture, coinage, and art, which often featured intricate designs and motifs. The Parthians were particularly skilled in metalwork, producing exquisite jewelry, weapons, and ceremonial objects that reflected their wealth and sophistication. Their cities, such as Ctesiphon, became centers of trade and learning, attracting merchants, scholars, and artisans from across the ancient world. The Parthians also played a crucial role in the Silk Road trade network connecting the East and West. Their control over key trade routes allowed them to amass great wealth and facilitate the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies. This economic prosperity supported their empire's growth and enabled them to maintain their military strength. However, their reliance on a decentralized feudal system where local nobles held significant power also created internal tensions that would eventually contribute to their decline. By the 3rd century of the Common Era, the Parthian Empire began to falter. Internal strife, combined with relentless pressure from Rome and the rising power of the Sassanids, weakened their hold on the region. In 226 of the Common Era, the Sassanids overthrew the Parthians, marking the end of their empire. Yet the Parthians' legacy endured. Their military innovations, cultural achievements, and role in shaping the ancient world left a lasting impact on the civilizations that followed. As we move forward, we'll explore the Nabateans, a civilization renowned for their ingenuity in carving an entire city from the desert rock. Their story offers a fascinating glimpse into how human creativity and resilience can thrive in even the most challenging environments. Now, let's journey into the heart of the desert to uncover the story of the Nabateans, a civilization whose ingenuity and resourcefulness turned barren landscapes into thriving hubs of life and commerce. The Nabateans are perhaps best known for their breathtaking city of Petra, a marvel of engineering and artistry carved directly into the rose-red cliffs of southern Jordan. This city, hidden within narrow gorges and towering rock faces, served as the capital of their kingdom and a testament to their ability to adapt and flourish in one of the harshest environments on Earth. The Nabateans' mastery of water management was nothing short of revolutionary. In a region where water was scarce, they developed an intricate system of dams, cisterns, and channels to capture and store every precious drop of rainfall. These innovations allowed them to sustain agriculture, support a growing population, and even create lush gardens within their desert city. Their ability to harness water not only ensured their survival, but also enabled them to establish a thriving trade network that connected the Arabian Peninsula, the Mediterranean, and beyond. Speaking of trade, the Nabateans were master merchants. They controlled key routes along the incense road, transporting valuable goods like frankincense, myrrh, and spices from southern Arabia to markets in Egypt, Syria, and the Roman Empire. Their strategic location and expertise in navigating the desert made them indispensable middlemen in this lucrative trade. Over time, their wealth grew, and Petra became a bustling metropolis, adorned with grand temples, tombs, and public spaces that reflected their prosperity and cultural sophistication. One of the most iconic structures in Petra is the Treasury, or Al-Khosneh, a monumental facade carved into the rock face that has captivated travelers and archaeologists for centuries. While its exact purpose remains debated, it stands as a symbol of the Nabateans' architectural brilliance and their ability to blend influences from Greek, Egyptian, and Mesopotamian cultures into a unique artistic style. Despite their independence and ingenuity, the Nabateans eventually found themselves drawn into the orbit of the Roman Empire. In 106 of the Common Era, the Romans annexed the Nabatean kingdom, transforming it into the province of Arabia Petraea. While this marked the end of their political autonomy, the Nabateans' cultural and technological legacy endured. Their water management systems influenced Roman engineering, and their trade networks continued to flourish under Roman rule. The story of the Nabateans is one of resilience and innovation, a reminder that even in the most unforgiving environments, human creativity can thrive. As we move forward, we'll explore the city-state of Palmyra, another remarkable civilization that rose to prominence as a crossroads of culture and commerce in the ancient Near East. Now, let's turn our attention to the city-state of Palmyra, a dazzling oasis in the Syrian desert that became one of the most vibrant trading hubs of the ancient world. Known as the Bride of the Desert, Palmyra's strategic location along the Silk Road made it a melting pot of cultures where East met West in a dazzling display of art, architecture, and commerce. At its peak, Palmyra was a city of unparalleled beauty, with grand colonnaded streets, towering temples, and intricate carvings that reflected its unique blend of Roman, Greek, Persian, and local influences. This cultural fusion was not just decorative, it was a testament to the city's role as a bridge between empires, where merchants, travelers, and ideas flowed freely. One of the most fascinating chapters in Palmyra's history is its rise under the leadership of Queen Zenobia. A woman of remarkable ambition and vision, Zenobia expanded Palmyra's influence far beyond its desert borders, challenging the might of Rome itself. Under her rule, Palmyra briefly became the center of a vast empire that stretched from Egypt to Anatolia, a bold assertion of independence that defied the dominance of Rome. Zenobia's reign was marked by both military prowess and cultural patronage. She positioned herself as a protector of the East, championing its traditions while embracing the sophistication of Roman governance. Her court became a hub of intellectual activity, attracting scholars, artists, and philosophers who enriched Palmyra's cultural landscape. However, Palmyra's golden age was short-lived. In 272 of the Common Era, the Roman Emperor Aurelian launched a devastating campaign to reclaim the rebellious city. After a fierce struggle, Palmyra fell, and Zenobia was captured, marking the end of its brief but glorious independence. The city was sacked, its treasures looted, and its people subjected to Roman rule once more. Despite its destruction, Palmyra's legacy endures. Its ruins, with their towering columns and intricate carvings, stand as a poignant reminder of a city that once thrived at the crossroads of civilizations. The story of Palmyra is one of ambition, resilience, and the enduring power of cultural exchange, a story that continues to captivate historians and travelers alike. As we move forward, we'll delve into the Phoenicians, a seafaring people whose maritime prowess and innovations left an indelible mark on the ancient world. Now, let's set sail to explore the Phoenicians, a civilization whose mastery of the seas and groundbreaking innovations reshaped the ancient world. Known as the merchants of the Mediterranean, the Phoenicians were not just traders, they were pioneers who connected distant lands and cultures through their vast maritime network. The Phoenicians hailed from the coastal regions of modern-day Lebanon, where their cities such as Tyre, Sidon, and Byblos thrived as bustling hubs of commerce. Their ships, sturdy and swift, ventured far beyond the Mediterranean, reaching as far as the Atlantic coasts of Africa and Europe. These voyages were not just about trade, they were about exploration, as the Phoenicians established colonies that became centers of cultural exchange. Among these, Carthage stands out as one of their most famous settlements, a city that would later rise to challenge Rome itself. But the Phoenicians' legacy extends far beyond their seafaring prowess. They are credited with one of the most transformative inventions in human history, the alphabet. Unlike the complex writing systems of their neighbors, the Phoenician alphabet was simple and adaptable, consisting of 22 characters that represented consonant sounds. This innovation made writing more accessible and spread rapidly, influencing the scripts of the Greeks, Romans, and ultimately, much of the modern world. Culturally, the Phoenicians were a bridge between East and West. Their art, architecture, and religious practices reflected a blend of influences from Mesopotamia, Egypt, and the Aegean. They were skilled craftsmen producing exquisite glassware, textiles, and the famous Tyrian purple dye, a luxury item prized by royalty across the ancient world. Yet, despite their achievements, the Phoenicians' power waned over time. The rise of competing empires such as Assyria, Babylon, and later Rome gradually eroded their independence. Many of their cities were conquered, and their colonies, like Carthage, faced devastating conflicts. By the 1st century of the Common Era, the Phoenician civilization had largely faded into history, absorbed by the empires that followed. Still, their influence endures. The alphabet they created remains the foundation of many modern writing systems, and their maritime legacy laid the groundwork for centuries of trade and exploration. The Phoenicians remind us that even the smallest civilizations can leave an indelible mark on the world. As we continue our journey, we'll turn our attention to the Arameans, a people whose language and trade networks left a lasting imprint on the ancient Near East. Now, shifting our focus to the Arameans, we uncover a civilization whose influence stretched far beyond their political boundaries. Unlike the centralized empires we've explored, the Arameans were a collection of small, semi-independent city-states scattered across the Near East. Their strength lay not in military conquest or monumental architecture, but in something far more enduring: their language. The Arameans emerged around the 12th century before the Common Era, settling in regions that today include parts of Syria, Iraq, and Turkey. Their cities, such as Damascus and Hamath, became vital hubs of trade and culture. But what truly set the Arameans apart was their language, Aramaic. Simple, versatile, and easy to learn, Aramaic became the lingua franca of the ancient Near East, spoken by merchants, diplomats, and everyday people across diverse cultures. This linguistic dominance was no accident. The Arameans' strategic location along major trade routes made their language indispensable for communication between empires like Assyria, Babylon, and Persia. Even as these empires rose and fell, Aramaic endured, becoming the administrative language of vast territories. It was the language of diplomacy, commerce, and even religion, used in texts ranging from royal decrees to biblical scriptures. Politically, however, the Arameans were fragmented. Their city-states often competed with one another, lacking the unity to form a centralized empire. This fragmentation made them vulnerable to conquest by larger powers. The Assyrians, in particular, absorbed many Aramean territories, yet instead of erasing their culture, they adopted Aramaic as a tool of governance. This paradox, political subjugation alongside cultural influence, highlights the unique legacy of the Arameans. Their contributions didn't stop at language. The Arameans were skilled traders, connecting the Mediterranean world with the interiors of Mesopotamia and beyond. They facilitated the exchange of goods, ideas, and technologies, enriching the cultures they interacted with. Their art and religious practices also reflected a blend of influences, showcasing their role as cultural intermediaries. By the time of the Persian Empire, Aramaic had become so widespread that it was used from Egypt to India. Even after the Arameans themselves faded from prominence, their language lived on, evolving into dialects that are still spoken in parts of the Middle East today. The Arameans remind us that power isn't always measured in armies or monuments sometimes. It's the words we speak that leave the deepest mark on history. As we move forward, we'll explore the Chaldeans, a people who rose to prominence in Babylon and left their own indelible legacy on the ancient world. Turning our attention to the Chaldeans, we encounter a civilization that breathed new life into the ancient city of Babylon, transforming it into a center of learning, innovation, and grandeur. Emerging in the late 7th century before the Common Era, the Chaldeans rose to prominence under the leadership of Nebuchadnezzar II, a ruler whose name became synonymous with Babylon's golden age. The Chaldeans were not just conquerors, they were visionaries. Under Nebuchadnezzar, Babylon was rebuilt into a city of unparalleled splendor. Its iconic Ishtar Gate, adorned with vibrant blue glazed bricks and intricate animal reliefs, stood as a testament to their architectural genius. The Hanging Gardens, one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, showcased their mastery of engineering and their ability to create beauty even in the harshest environments. These marvels weren't just symbols of power, they were expressions of a culture that valued art, science, and the pursuit of knowledge. But the Chaldeans' contributions extended far beyond bricks and mortar. They were pioneers in the field of astronomy, meticulously observing the night sky and recording celestial movements. Their detailed records laid the groundwork for future astronomical studies, and their ability to predict eclipses and planetary alignments demonstrated a deep understanding of the cosmos. This knowledge wasn't just academic, it was woven into their religious and cultural practices, shaping their worldview and influencing neighboring civilizations. Despite their achievements, the Chaldeans' reign was not destined to last. By the 6th century before the Common Era, the Persian Empire, led by Cyrus the Great, began to expand its influence. In 539 before the Common Era, Babylon fell to the Persians, marking the end of Chaldean dominance. Yet, even in defeat, their legacy endured. The Persians adopted many aspects of Babylonian culture, ensuring that the Chaldeans' innovations in architecture, astronomy, and governance continued to shape the ancient world. The Chaldeans remind us that greatness is often fleeting, but its impact can echo through the ages. Their story is one of brilliance, ambition, and the enduring power of human ingenuity. As we move forward, we'll explore the Medes, a people whose rise to power set the stage for one of history's most influential empires. Now, let's journey further back in time to uncover the story of the Medes, a civilization whose rise laid the foundation for one of history's most formidable empires. Emerging in the rugged highlands of modern-day Iran, the Medes began as a collection of tribes united by language and culture. Over time, they transformed into a powerful force, challenging the dominance of the Assyrian Empire and reshaping the political landscape of the ancient Near East. The Medes' ascent to power was no small feat. By the 8th century before the Common Era, they had established a centralized kingdom with their capital at Ecbatana, a city renowned for its wealth and strategic location. Their rise was fueled by a combination of military innovation and shrewd alliances. One of their most significant achievements was the development of a formidable cavalry, which gave them a decisive edge in battle. This mastery of mounted warfare allowed them to challenge the Assyrians, who had long dominated the region with their fearsome infantry and siege tactics. The Medes' conflict with Assyria reached its climax in the 7th century before the Common Era. Alongside their allies, the Babylonians, they launched a series of campaigns that culminated in the fall of Nineveh, the Assyrian capital, in 612 before the Common Era. This victory marked the end of Assyrian dominance and the beginning of a new era in which the Medes and Babylonians divided the spoils of their conquest. For a time, the Medes controlled a vast territory stretching from the Zagros Mountains to the borders of Anatolia, establishing themselves as a major power in the region. Yet the Medes' time in the spotlight was relatively brief. By the mid-6th century before the Common Era, their empire began to wane. Internal divisions and the rise of a new power, the Persians, sealed their fate. Under the leadership of Cyrus the Great, the Persians, who had once been subjects of the Medes, rebelled and overthrew their overlords. In 550 before the Common Era, Cyrus captured Ecbatana, effectively absorbing the Median Empire into the burgeoning Persian Empire. Despite their eventual absorption, the Medes left an indelible mark on history. Their administrative systems, military strategies, and cultural practices heavily influenced the Persians, who built upon these foundations to create one of the largest empires the world had ever seen. The Medes remind us that even civilizations that fade from the stage of history can leave a legacy that shapes the future in profound ways. As we continue our exploration, we'll turn our attention to the Manneans, a lesser-known but fascinating kingdom that thrived in the shadow of these great powers. Their story offers a glimpse into the complex tapestry of the ancient Near East, where even smaller civilizations played a role in shaping the course of history. Now, let's step into the world of the Manneans, a kingdom that thrived in the shadow of the great powers of the ancient Near East. Nestled in the rugged Zagros Mountains, the Manneans carved out a unique identity in a region dominated by empires like Assyria and the Medes. Though often overlooked, their story is one of resilience, cultural richness, and a struggle for survival in a volatile landscape. The Manneans first emerged as a distinct people around the 9th century before the Common Era. Their heartland, located in what is now northwestern Iran, was a strategic crossroads between Mesopotamia and the Iranian plateau. This position allowed them to engage in trade and cultural exchange, but it also made them a target for larger powers seeking to expand their influence. The Manneans were known for their fortified cities, which served as both centers of governance and strongholds against invaders. One of the defining aspects of Mannean culture was their art and craftsmanship. Archaeological discoveries have revealed intricate metalwork, including bronze vessels and jewelry, showcasing their skill and creativity. These artifacts suggest a society that valued both practicality and beauty, blending influences from neighboring civilizations with their own unique traditions. Their religious practices, though not fully understood, appear to have centered around a pantheon of deities, with temples serving as focal points of community life. However, the Manneans' location also placed them in the crosshairs of the Assyrian Empire, one of the most aggressive powers of the time. Throughout the 8th and 7th centuries before the Common Era, the Manneans found themselves locked in a series of conflicts with Assyria. These clashes were often brutal, with Assyrian kings like Sargon II launching campaigns to subdue the Manneans and extract tribute. Despite their smaller size, the Manneans proved to be formidable opponents, using their mountainous terrain to their advantage and resisting Assyrian domination for decades. Yet the constant pressure from Assyria, combined with internal challenges, eventually took its toll. By the late 7th century before the Common Era, the Manneans began to lose their grip on power. The exact reasons for their decline remain shrouded in mystery, but historians speculate that a combination of Assyrian aggression, shifting alliances, and possibly even environmental factors contributed to their downfall. By the time the Medes and Persians rose to prominence, the Manneans had largely faded from the historical record, their legacy absorbed into the larger tapestry of the region. Despite their disappearance, the Manneans left behind a fascinating legacy. Their art, architecture, and resistance to Assyrian domination offer a glimpse into the lives of a people who refused to be overshadowed by their more powerful neighbors. Their story reminds us that even lesser-known civilizations played a vital role in shaping the ancient world. As we move forward, we'll explore another intriguing chapter in the history of the ancient Near East, the Kingdom of Katna, a city-state whose royal palace and archives reveal a world of diplomacy, trade, and intrigue. Now, let's journey to the ancient city of Katna, a once thriving kingdom that stood as a beacon of wealth and diplomacy in the ancient Near East. Located in what is now modern-day Syria, Katna was a hub of trade, culture, and political intrigue, leaving behind a legacy that continues to captivate historians and archaeologists alike. Katna's rise to prominence began around the second millennium before the Common Era, when it became a key player in the region's trade networks. Situated at the crossroads of major routes connecting Mesopotamia, Anatolia, and the Mediterranean, Katna flourished as a center of commerce. Its merchants traded in luxury goods like textiles, metals, and precious stones, bringing wealth and influence to the city. But Katna was more than just a trading post. It was a kingdom with a sophisticated political structure and a royal court that rivaled those of its more famous neighbors. One of the most remarkable discoveries at Katna is its royal palace, a sprawling complex that offers a glimpse into the opulence and power of its rulers. The palace was not only a residence but also a center of administration, where scribes meticulously recorded transactions, treaties, and diplomatic correspondence on clay tablets. These archives, unearthed by archaeologists, reveal a world of intricate alliances and rivalries, as Katna navigated the complex politics of the ancient Near East. Katna's strategic location, however, also made it a target for larger powers. Throughout its history, the kingdom found itself caught in the crossfire between empires like the Hittites and the Egyptians. One of the most dramatic episodes in Katna's history was its involvement in the power struggles of the Late Bronze Age. The city's rulers skillfully played one empire against another, forging alliances and negotiating treaties to maintain their independence. Yet, this delicate balancing act could not last forever. The end of Katna came suddenly and violently. Around the 14th century before the Common Era, the city was sacked and burned, likely by the Hittites or one of their allies. The destruction was so complete that Katna never fully recovered, and its once great palace lay buried under layers of ash and rubble for centuries. The exact reasons for its downfall remain a subject of debate, but it is clear that Katna's fate was tied to the shifting tides of power in the ancient world. Despite its tragic end, Katna's legacy endures. The artifacts and archives uncovered at the site provide invaluable insights into the political, economic, and cultural life of the ancient Near East. From its royal palace to its bustling markets, Katna offers a window into a world of ambition, diplomacy, and resilience. As we continue our exploration, we'll turn our attention to the Kingdom of Ugarit, a coastal city whose rich literary tradition and maritime trade made it a jewel of the ancient world. Shifting our focus to the coast, we now arrive at the Kingdom of Ugarit, a bustling port city that thrived on the shores of the Mediterranean. Known for its vibrant trade networks and groundbreaking contributions to writing, Ugarit was a cultural and economic powerhouse of the ancient Near East. Ugarit's strategic location along the Mediterranean made it a vital hub for maritime trade. Ships from across the ancient world docked at its ports, bringing goods like copper, ivory, and wine, while Ugarit's merchants exported textiles, olive oil, and other local products. This thriving trade network connected Ugarit to distant lands from Egypt to the Aegean, making it a melting pot of cultures and ideas. But Ugarit's most enduring legacy lies in its literary achievements. The city is credited with developing one of the earliest known alphabets, a revolutionary system that simplified writing and made it more accessible. Unlike the complex cuneiform scripts of Mesopotamia, Ugarit's alphabet used fewer symbols, each representing a distinct sound. This innovation not only transformed record-keeping and administration, but also laid the groundwork for later writing systems, including the Phoenician alphabet, which influenced Greek and Latin scripts. The discovery of Ugarit's archives has provided a treasure trove of information about its society and culture. Thousands of clay tablets written in Ugaritic, Akkadian, and other languages reveal a city deeply engaged in diplomacy, trade, and religious practices. These texts include everything from royal decrees and treaties to myths and poetry, offering a vivid picture of life in Ugarit. Despite its prosperity, Ugarit's fate was sealed by the turmoil of the late Bronze Age collapse. Around the 12th century before the Common Era, the city was suddenly and violently destroyed, likely by the mysterious Sea Peoples, a confederation of raiders who swept through the eastern Mediterranean. The destruction was swift and devastating, leaving Ugarit in ruins and its once thriving trade networks in disarray. The fall of Ugarit marked the end of an era, but its contributions to writing and culture continue to resonate. Its alphabet remains a testament to human ingenuity, while its archives provide invaluable insights into the interconnected world of the ancient Near East. As we move forward, our next stop takes us to the Kingdom of Mari, a city-state renowned for its impressive palace and its role as a center of political influence in the region. Turning our attention inland, we now explore the Kingdom of Mari, a city-state whose grandeur and influence once rivaled the greatest powers of the ancient Near East. Nestled along the banks of the Euphrates River, Mari was not only a political powerhouse but also a cultural beacon, leaving behind a legacy that continues to captivate historians and archaeologists alike. At the heart of Mari's prominence was its magnificent royal palace, a sprawling complex that served as the administrative and ceremonial center of the kingdom. This architectural marvel, with its intricate frescoes, grand courtyards, and extensive archives, was a testament to the city's wealth and sophistication. The palace was more than just a residence for the king. It was a hub of governance, diplomacy, and cultural exchange, where envoys from neighboring kingdoms gathered to negotiate treaties and alliances. Mari's political influence extended far beyond its walls. As a key player in the region's power dynamics, the city-state maintained a delicate balance of alliances and rivalries with other major powers, such as Babylon and Assyria. Its strategic location along the Euphrates made it a vital link in the trade routes connecting Mesopotamia to the Mediterranean, further enhancing its economic and political clout. But Mari's true treasure lies in its archives, a collection of over 20,000 clay tablets that offer an unparalleled glimpse into the daily life, administration, and culture of the ancient world. These texts, written in Akkadian, reveal the meticulous record-keeping of Mari's bureaucracy, detailing everything from tax records and legal disputes to diplomatic correspondence and royal decrees. Among the most fascinating discoveries are letters exchanged between Mari's kings and their counterparts, shedding light on the complex web of alliances and conflicts that shaped the region. Culturally, Mari was a melting pot of traditions and innovations. Its artisans produced exquisite works of art, from intricately carved statues to vibrant wall paintings that adorned the palace walls. The city's religious practices, centered around temples dedicated to deities like Ishtar and Dagon, reflected a deep connection to the spiritual life of its people. Yet, despite its prosperity, Mari's story took a tragic turn. Around the 18th century before the Common Era, the city fell to the armies of Hammurabi of Babylon, marking the end of its independence. The once thriving metropolis was reduced to ruins, its palace burned and its archives buried beneath the rubble. While the destruction of Mari was a devastating blow, the preservation of its archives has allowed modern scholars to piece together the story of this remarkable civilization. As we reflect on Mari's legacy, we see a kingdom that not only shaped the political landscape of its time, but also left behind a rich cultural heritage that continues to inform our understanding of the ancient Near East. Our journey now takes us to the final chapter of our exploration, the Kingdom of Eblaites, a city whose strategic importance and archaeological discoveries offer yet another fascinating glimpse into the forgotten civilizations of this region. Now, as we step into the final chapter of our journey, we arrive at the Kingdom of Eblaites, a city whose story is as intriguing as it is enigmatic. Nestled in the fertile Amak Valley, Eblaites was a vital crossroads of trade and culture, connecting the ancient worlds of Mesopotamia, Anatolia, and the Mediterranean. Its strategic location made it a coveted prize for empires and a hub of innovation and exchange. Eblaites' rise to prominence was no accident. Situated along key trade routes, the city thrived as a center of commerce where goods, ideas, and people flowed freely. Its rulers, keenly aware of their advantageous position, fortified the city with impressive walls and grand palaces, symbols of their power and ambition. Among the most remarkable discoveries at Eblaites is its royal palace, a sprawling complex that showcased the wealth and sophistication of its inhabitants. The palace's architecture, with its intricate designs and advanced construction techniques, reflects the city's role as a cultural and political powerhouse. But Eblaites' true legacy lies beneath its ruins. Archaeological excavations have unearthed a treasure trove of artifacts, from intricately carved seals to cuneiform tablets that reveal the city's administrative and legal systems. These texts, written in Akkadian and other languages, provide a window into the daily lives of Eblaites' people, detailing everything from trade agreements to personal correspondence. Among the most fascinating finds are records of diplomatic exchanges with neighboring powers, highlighting Eblaites' role as a mediator and ally in the region's complex political landscape. Culturally, Eblaites was a melting pot of influences. Its art and architecture bear the marks of Mesopotamian, Hittite, and Syrian traditions, blending them into a unique local style. Temples dedicated to deities like Ishtar and Teshub stood as testaments to the city's spiritual life, while its artisans produced exquisite works that reflected the diverse influences of its cosmopolitan population. Yet, like so many of the civilizations we've explored, Eblaites' story is one of both triumph and tragedy. The city faced repeated invasions and conflicts, caught in the crossfire of rival empires vying for control of the region. By the 12th century before the Common Era, Eblaites had fallen into decline, its once thriving streets abandoned and its grand structures left to crumble. While the exact reasons for its downfall remain debated, evidence suggests a combination of external pressures and internal challenges contributed to its eventual disappearance from history. As we reflect on Eblaites' legacy, we see a city that embodied the dynamism and complexity of the ancient Near East. Its strategic importance, cultural achievements, and archaeological treasures remind us of the interconnectedness of these forgotten civilizations and their enduring impact on the world we know today. With this, we conclude our exploration of the 25 forgotten civilizations of the ancient Near East, each with its own unique story and contribution to the tapestry of history. But before we part ways, let's take a moment to consider the broader legacy of these remarkable societies and the lessons they offer us. Now, as we turn our attention to the broader picture, let's explore the lasting legacy of these forgotten civilizations and how their influence rippled through time, shaping the history of the Near East and beyond. These ancient societies were far more than just footnotes in history. They were pioneers, innovators, and cultural trailblazers whose contributions laid the groundwork for many of the advancements we take for granted today. One of the most profound ways these civilizations left their mark was through their artistic achievements. From the intricate carvings of the Hurrians to the monumental architecture of the Hittites, their art and craftsmanship inspired later cultures and set standards for beauty and creativity. The Phoenicians, for instance, not only excelled in maritime trade but also gifted the world with the alphabet, a revolutionary innovation that transformed communication and literacy across the ancient world. Their script became the foundation for Greek and Latin writing systems, which in turn shaped the languages we use today. in the realm of technology, these civilizations were equally groundbreaking. The Kassites, for example, introduced advanced irrigation techniques that allowed agriculture to flourish in arid regions, while the Hurrians mastered the art of fortress construction, creating structures that stood the test of time. The Hittites' expertise in ironworking gave them a military edge and ushered in the Iron Age, fundamentally changing the tools and weapons available to societies across the globe. These technological leaps not only improved daily life but also set the stage for future innovations. Governance and administration were another area where these civilizations excelled. The Eblaites, with their extensive clay tablet archives, demonstrated the importance of record-keeping and organized governance. The Mitanni Empire's diplomatic prowess and treaties with Egypt showcased the value of international relations and strategic alliances. Even the Amorites, often remembered for their nomadic roots, established the Old Babylonian Empire, creating one of the earliest legal codes under Hammurabi, a system that influenced legal traditions for centuries to come. Culturally, these civilizations were melting pots of ideas, blending influences from neighboring regions to create something entirely unique. The Elamites, for example, synthesized Mesopotamian and Iranian traditions, while the Nabateans combined Arabian, Greek, and Roman elements to build their iconic city of Petra. This cultural exchange not only enriched their own societies but also laid the foundation for the diverse and interconnected world we live in today. Perhaps most importantly, these forgotten civilizations remind us of the interconnectedness of human history. Their trade networks, diplomatic ties, and cultural exchanges show that even in ancient times, societies were far from isolated. They thrived by learning from one another, adapting to new challenges, and building on the achievements of those who came before them. As we reflect on their legacy, it's clear that these civilizations were not just relics of the past, they were architects of the future. Their contributions to art, technology, and governance continue to resonate, offering us valuable lessons about innovation, resilience, and the power of cultural exchange. And as we move forward, let's carry their stories with us, remembering that the echoes of their achievements still shape the world we live in today. Now, as we shift our focus to the tangible remnants of these ancient societies, let's delve into the fascinating world of archaeological discoveries that have brought these forgotten civilizations back to life. Over the years, archaeologists have unearthed remarkable artifacts, structures, and texts that offer us a glimpse into the daily lives, beliefs, and achievements of these once thriving cultures. Yet, piecing together their stories is no simple task. It's a journey filled with challenges, surprises, and lingering mysteries. One of the most significant breakthroughs came with the discovery of the Eblaites tablets in modern-day Syria. These clay tablets, numbering in the thousands, contain detailed records of trade, diplomacy, and daily administration, offering an unprecedented look into the workings of the Eblaites civilization. The decipherment of these texts revealed not only the complexity of their governance but also their extensive trade networks, which stretched across the Near East. However, the excavation of Ebla was fraught with difficulties, from political instability to the delicate process of preserving fragile clay tablets that had survived for millennia. Another groundbreaking find was the Royal Archives of Mari, a city-state located along the Euphrates River. The Palace of Mari yielded over 20,000 cuneiform tablets, shedding light on the political and cultural dynamics of the region. These texts provided invaluable insights into the interactions between Mari and its neighbors, including the Amorites and the Babylonians. Yet, even with such a wealth of information, many questions remain. For instance, the sudden destruction of Mari by Hammurabi's forces raises questions about the motivations behind this act and its broader implications for the region. The excavation of the Hittite capital Hattusa in modern-day Turkey revealed another layer of ancient ingenuity. The city's massive fortifications, temples, and royal archives showcased the Hittites' architectural prowess and administrative sophistication. Among the most intriguing finds were the Hittite laws, which provided a glimpse into their legal system and societal norms. Yet, the Hittites' sudden collapse around 1200 BCE remains one of history's great enigmas. Was it due to internal strife, external invasions, or a combination of factors? Archaeologists continue to debate these questions, piecing together clues from the ruins. In the case of the Nabateans, the rock-carved city of Petra stands as a testament to their engineering brilliance. The discovery of Petra's intricate water management systems revealed how the Nabateans thrived in the arid desert environment. Yet, despite the wealth of information gleaned from Petra, much about their culture and language remains shrouded in mystery. For example, their script, though deciphered, has left behind few lengthy texts, leaving gaps in our understanding of their literature and religious practices. The challenges of uncovering these civilizations are immense. Many sites are located in politically unstable regions, making excavation difficult or even dangerous. Additionally, the passage of time has eroded or destroyed countless artifacts, leaving archaeologists to work with fragmented evidence. Climate change and urban development further threaten these ancient sites, adding urgency to the task of preservation. Despite these challenges, each discovery brings us closer to understanding these forgotten civilizations. From the enigmatic ruins of Urartu to the sprawling city of Ugarit, every artifact and inscription adds a piece to the puzzle. Yet for every answer we find, new questions arise. What caused the sudden decline of the Mitanni Empire? How did the Elamites maintain their cultural identity amidst Mesopotamian dominance? And what secrets still lie buried beneath the sands of the Near East? As we continue to uncover the past, these archaeological discoveries remind us that history is not static. It's a living, evolving narrative. Each find challenges our assumptions and deepens our appreciation for the complexity of these ancient societies. And as we stand on the shoulders of these discoveries, we're reminded that the story of humanity is one of resilience, innovation, and an unending quest for understanding. Now, as we turn our attention to the mysteries surrounding the decline of these ancient civilizations, we find ourselves faced with a web of theories, each offering a unique perspective on what might have led to their downfall. The disappearance of these once thriving societies has long puzzled historians and archaeologists, sparking debates that continue to this day. Let's explore some of the most compelling explanations, from external invasions to environmental shifts and internal strife. One of the most widely discussed theories points to invasions by foreign powers as a primary cause of decline. For instance, the sudden collapse of the Hittite Empire around 1200 BCE is often attributed to the so-called Sea Peoples, a mysterious coalition of raiders who swept across the eastern Mediterranean. These invaders are believed to have disrupted trade routes, destroyed cities, and destabilized entire regions. Similarly, the Gutians, who overthrew the Akkadian Empire, are often portrayed as a destructive force, though some scholars argue that their role may have been more complex than mere conquerors. The question remains, were these invasions the sole cause of collapse, or did they merely accelerate existing vulnerabilities? Another significant factor often cited is climate change. Shifts in weather patterns, prolonged droughts, and the depletion of natural resources could have had devastating effects on agricultural societies. For example, the decline of the Urartian kingdom has been linked to a period of severe drought that crippled their irrigation-dependent economy. Similarly, the Nabateans, despite their advanced water management systems, may have struggled to adapt to long-term environmental changes. Could these civilizations have survived if not for the pressures of a changing climate? Or were their declines inevitable given the ecological challenges they faced? Internal conflicts and political instability also emerge as recurring themes in the narratives of decline. The fall of the Mitanni Empire, for instance, is often attributed to internal power struggles and the weakening of central authority. Likewise, the destruction of Mari by Hammurabi's forces highlights the role of regional rivalries and shifting alliances. These examples raise important questions about the fragility of political systems and the impact of infighting on the stability of ancient states. Were these conflicts a symptom of deeper societal issues, or did they arise from external pressures? Adding to the complexity, some historians propose that the decline of these civilizations was not the result of a single cause but rather a combination of factors. The collapse of the Eblaites, for example, may have been influenced by both Mesopotamian invasions and internal fragmentation. Similarly, the mysterious disappearance of the Hurrians could be tied to a mix of external threats and cultural assimilation. This multifaceted approach challenges us to consider how interconnected forces, environmental, political, and social, might have converged to bring about the end of these societies. Yet, despite the wealth of theories, many questions remain unanswered. The sudden disappearance of the Kassites, for instance, continues to baffle researchers. Was their decline due to external conquest, internal decay, or a combination of both? And what about the enigmatic sea peoples? Who were they, and what drove their widespread raids? These lingering mysteries remind us that the study of ancient civilizations is an ongoing process, with each discovery offering new clues and raising new questions. As we reflect on these theories, it's clear that the decline of these civilizations was rarely a straightforward event. Instead, it was often the result of a complex interplay of factors, each contributing to the eventual unraveling of these once great societies. This complexity not only deepens our understanding of the past, but also underscores the resilience and adaptability of human cultures in the face of adversity. And as we continue to explore these ancient mysteries, we're reminded that history is not just a record of what happened, it's a story of how and why, filled with lessons that resonate even today. As we bring our journey through the 25 forgotten civilizations of the ancient Near East to a close, it's worth reflecting on the incredible diversity and richness of these ancient societies. From the bustling trade hubs of Eblaites and the enigmatic Gutians to the architectural marvels of the Kassites and the maritime prowess of the Phoenicians, each civilization has left an indelible mark on history. Their stories remind us that the past is not a single narrative but a tapestry woven from countless threads, each one representing a unique culture, innovation, and struggle. These civilizations, though often overshadowed by more well-known empires, played crucial roles in shaping the world we know today. They pioneered advancements in writing, governance, art, and technology, laying the groundwork for future societies. Yet their declines, whether due to invasions, environmental shifts, or internal strife, offer valuable lessons about resilience, adaptability, and the fragility of human achievement. By studying their histories, we gain not only a deeper understanding of the ancient world, but also insights into the challenges and triumphs that define our shared human experience. So, what can we take away from these forgotten civilizations? Perhaps it's the realization that history is not just about the rise and fall of empires, but about the enduring legacy of ideas and innovations. Or maybe it's the reminder that even the most powerful societies are shaped by forces beyond their control. As we continue to uncover the secrets of the past, we're left with one final question: what other stories remain hidden, waiting to be discovered? If you found this exploration of the ancient Near East as fascinating as we did, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more deep dives into history's greatest mysteries. And let us know in the comments which of these civilizations intrigued you the most, and what do you think we can learn from their stories? Together, let's keep uncovering the secrets of our past, one civilization at a time.